just want to say welcome everybody. This is an amazing gathering here, and everybody has so much to contribute on the future of artificial intelligence and how we are going to be using and applying it. So this meeting here today is with the all-party parliamentary groups on AI, and Stephen Metcalfe and Lord Clement Jones will be arriving. Stephen in about an hour, and Lord Clement Jones after that. The election clearly have done a lot of different things to Parliament right now, but they will be arriving. So thank you everybody for coming. After here, I hope all of you will join us at the Millbank Tower party, where we will be joined, where will be a group of 230 people, so there will be a lot more. So this year is really a good opportunity for getting to know each other as well, which we already do from Parliament now. The logistics is that we have the meeting is divided into 3 sections. And what we usually do here is that we have the provocations given by people, and they're all in the program. And then each table are addressing the questions which you have, which you will be reminded of here, but which we also have put in the provocation pack. Very easy questions, things you can just, it's almost your evidence and opinions account. And basically for each table, we have located someone to be chairing that particular session. So some of you have on your in front of your pack something like chair of session 1, and someone has like chair of session 2 and chair of session 3. Can I just see who has chair of session 1? We all have. That table have that table. Every table have a chair of session 1? Yeah. And it's just very important somebody tell the discussion. And also for each session there is a note taker, and this is literally just to write down the 5 key findings that table had from that discussion. So at each one there's also each on one person at the table will have something saying like put down 5 notes, and this is literally just your key findings. So each table somebody chairs, and somebody's responsible for these 5 points. If you don't like to chair, you can hand over your chairing card. If you think the person taking note is not doing the right things, writing the right notes, you're free to write your own notes, and you can all either you can give it to us in writing or you can email it to us if you do it on the computer. So this is literally how we're going to be, and we will have the 3 sessions one by one. And besides that, I think we should keep the doors open because I can feel it's going to be very hot here. We couldn't get more people in the room. So if we don't have any questions, I think actually we should, if we're still not here, we should actually start to go around the rooms, and everybody can say very quickly their name, what they do, and their organization. So should we start now? Valerie? So.
Sure. Hi, good afternoon. My name is Valerie Keller. I'm with EY, Ernst & Young. I'm part of our global executive working with some of our top clients, and my personal passion and the other hat that I wear for EY is I lead our Beacon Institute, which is a bit of a think and do tank advancing purposeful business. And so we've partnered with the Big Innovation Center also around the Purposeful Companies Initiative, and happy to support in this way as well. Good to be with you.
Yeah.
Mike Wooldridge. I'm a professor and head of Department of Computer Science at the University of Oxford and an AI researcher.
I'm Ben Taylor. I'm with the House of Lords, and I'm an analyst, and can't say too much more at the moment, but yeah. I'll hand that to
Analyzing an area of artificial intelligence. We'll soon know what you're doing to AI. So, yeah.
Hi, good afternoon everybody. I'm Andy Forrester. I'm Director of Hype Accelerator Solutions. We're a small consultancy based down in Brighton, technology consultancy. I'm a data scientist by trade, but I also specialise in futurism, innovation, emerging technologies and cognitive computing.
Yeah. Quickly,
sorry.
I'm Chris Walkup. I'm CEO of Innovate UK's Knowledge Transfer Network, and by background I'm a geneticist.
Nicolette Schönberg. I'm with BA Systems in the Applied Intelligence Division, and I head up our analyst relations practice in cybersecurity.
Hi, I'm Karen McAvenue. I'm from the Scottish Government, and I head up the Business Innovation team.
I am Brian Gribben. I'm a director with a law firm called Olswang, who are a technology specialist law firm.
I'm Ruth Yeoman from Oxford University. I do research on organisational ethics.
Hey, I'm Jazz, I work for PwC and I focus on artificial intelligence and disruption.
Last thing. Yeah.
I'll start. I'm Phil Clare, also from Oxford University. I'm Head of Knowledge Exchange and Associate Director of Research Services.
I'm Guy, I'm an investment analyst at Unilever Ventures.
I'm Michael Doyle, I'm a Managing Director at Evolution Software. We do web application and innovation for online platforms.
I'm Gabrielle, I'm a committee assistant also at the House of Lords.
Yeah, speak up.
Yeah, my name is Trelawney Williams. I'm Head of Corporate Finance at Fidelity International. I'm responsible for all our governance and engagement activities.
Tony Waller, I'm a partner at Olswang Technology Focused Law Firm.
Hi, I'm Nikki Iliadis. I am a business intelligence researcher here at the Big Innovation Center.
Hi, I'm Tabitha, co-founder of a business called Cognition X, which is a market intelligence platform.
Yeah.
I'm Gertsen, Head of Technology Transfer at the University of Oxford.
I'm Edwards from KPMG. I lead our program into cognitive computing for both transforming our own business and looking at clients too.
I'm Guy Robinson. I'm from the Intellectual Property Office and a Deputy Director in the Innovation Directorate.
I'm Helen Chilton. I'm with Hype Acceleration Solutions and I work with Andy Robinson, as a technology consultant, doing resourcing and recruitment.
I'm James Down. I work at the Guardian Media Group, owner of the Guardian newspaper, where I'm the Chief Delivery Officer responsible for strategy, implementation and transformation.
Margaret?
Maggie Bowden, Research Professor of Cognitive Science at University of Sussex.
Hi, I'm Phil Williams from Innovate UK's Knowledge Transfer Network, and I lead up the robotics and AI programmes.
David Ferguson from EDF Energy's Research and Development team. I head up our digital innovation team.
I'm Richard Suskind. I am IT advisor to the Lord Chief Justice.
I'm Roberto Desimone from BA Systems Applied Intelligence. I manage strategic innovation with disruptive technologies, including AI and quantum computing, and have been involved in AI since 1982.
I'm Luke Hussey. I'm a clerk at the House of Lords and the proposed team leader for the proposed Select Committee on Artificial Intelligence.
Yeah,
I'm Maria Ponce, project manager here at the Big Innovation Center.
Kumar Jikwa, lead Mindwave, startup in health technology, design and develop technologies for healthcare.
Michael Harte from Group Innovation at Barclays. We develop algorithms to try and make finance work better, and we're still learning.
Hi, I'm Darren Louis from Aptus Therapeutics. We're an investment holding company in Hong Kong.
Hi, I'm Anne Cassidy. I'm the editor of The Guardian's Small Business Network.
Hello, I'm Kevin Bourne, Deputy Chief Executive at Innovate UK. We fund and connect business-led innovation.
Super, thank you. So now we all can see we are from a variety of backgrounds, from startups to large corporates and academics and thought leaders. I'm sure that we can all shed a lot of lights on what we're going to be discussing. I also just want to say that there is Wi-Fi. So I think we should just get started with so we have the first 4 provocations on use cases, and then afterwards we will be addressing the use case questions which we have in the provocation. Yeah. So should we get started? Michael Harte, would you start with your use case?
She's very excited about this topic, and so am I. And when I was approached by Birgitte and Will to support the APVG on AI, it wasn't with interest about financial services algorithms or improving the lot of financial markets through AI, but rather through the lens of productivity and how it impacts work. Because I think there's a huge lag in statistics behind what is known about the impacts on work and what that's going to do to displace many jobs. And I'm going to paraphrase from an article from Nature that was published on the 13th of April. And this is the overarching concern and provocation that I have in the whole approach to this all-party review. And it's summed up pretty quickly by Erik Brynjolfsson. Erik Brynjolfsson wrote the book Race Against the Machine with Andy McPhee. He's a researcher from MIT. He's been looking at productivity statistics for the last 20 years. He's presented to Congress on computational and information productivity. So he's very thoughtful. And the most recent report they published was on the 13th of April in conjunction with the US National Academy of Science, Engineering and Medicine. And it looks at the impacts on information technology on the workforce, and particularly raises three big questions because it's not in the data. What is the scope and rate of change of key technologies, especially AI? Which technologies are already eliminating, augmenting, or transforming, and which types of jobs? What new work opportunities are emerging, and which policy options might create jobs in this context? And my concern about the APPG at the moment is it is qualitative. We're getting presentations from very learned people, very experienced people. Many questions are raised, but we don't have great quantitative analysis at the moment, and we need to work on that over the next 8 months. So the proposition for a use case would be the development of infrastructure, the creation of an independent information broker, and where industries and companies, both public, private, can put that information and share it specifically in a way that they propose in this approach. And they're talking about moving from where we previously are looking for historic data. We wanted to experiment around sense and respond approach. So this would require all of us to form an integrated information strategy, invest in this independent broker platform, and share the information around those three primary questions. Because without it, individual firms, government bodies, policymakers are flying blind into this information age, and we need to quickly address those jobs and the nature of work, how it's changing, and how we support those large number of people that will be out of work because of the advances in AI, and quickly be able to sense and respond to that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you so very much.
Hello, hello. So I'm David Ferguson. My background is actually as an environmentalist. So that's where I'm starting from when I think about AI. And my vision, I'm going to talk about a very specific use case, and one that we're actually working on right now, and that is the intelligent home. But before I do that, I want to talk about why I think this is important. So climate change is one of the biggest challenges facing humanity at the moment, among many big challenges. And all sectors need to step up to transform themselves to create a genuine low carbon economy. Here in the UK, the residential sector accounts for about a quarter of all greenhouse gas emissions. So there's a lot that needs to be done. Over about the last 20 years, there's been quite a lot of effort, particularly through government regulation and obligations on energy companies, to reduce carbon emissions, and that has had a little success. At the same time, there's also been quite a lot of push on change of behaviours, so nudging people into different behaviours and encouraging more sustainable uses of energy, and generally that has completely failed. And the reason for that is that it's really complicated and really boring. And the genuine interest is lacking. People don't think that this is something that's worth investing time and effort. So my vision is an artificial intelligence system that helps you manage your home, automate your home, and optimize it to meet your well-being and financial needs, whilst also cutting greenhouse gas emissions. So some new technology is already promising to do this. So smart meters are going to be rolled out to all homes over the next 4 years or so. There are now smart thermostats being offered by most energy companies. There are connected toasters, there are connected lights, there are connected cucumbers, there's connected everything. I have a phone full of apps that allow me to control devices in my home, but they are all separate, they don't talk to each other, and I have to do everything myself. So as a user experience, it is awful, and still I'm not interested enough to do anything about it. So what we want to create is an automated home that takes all of those devices, all of those sources of data, and takes care of it for you. So this requires a number of complex inputs and outputs. So at its heart is data. So we need data from your electricity and gas consumption. You need data from your thermostat to tell you how you're heating, to tell us how you're heating your home. You need device data, so talking about the specific appliances in your home. And also you need to get further input to talk about things like air quality and how your body is responding to the environment that you're in. You also need to have control over these devices so you can actually turn them on and off. And then once you have all of this data flowing and the controls between them, you can then start to automate things and apply the AI. But it doesn't stop there. So you can do this at the moment if you really apply yourself. The unique thing is being able to understand how this actually affects your physical or financial well-being. So actually, how do you react if your AI turns off your lights or turns down your thermostat? How does that affect you? Do you start cursing about your AI? Do you start sweating, or do you start shivering? So we need to start understanding how the human body responds to these things as well. So obviously this is very difficult. It poses many difficult challenges. The first is technology. We need to collect a lot of data. We need to organize that data, and we need to allow the data to be analyzed and affected. But it's also, there are a number of questions about ethics. Obviously, we will know a lot about you. We will know when you sleep, when you eat, what you eat, how good your lifestyle is, all sorts of things that may go on in your house, in your bedroom, or wherever. We will know an awful lot about you, and that raises deep ethical considerations. There's also deep considerations about security, and also about the impacts of some of the decisions that this AI will take. So if we get it wrong, what happens? What if we get it seriously wrong, and that affects your the way that your body functions? So and it also raises lots of questions about people skills. So in our business, we are not set up to provide this kind of service. So how do we ensure that we have the skills and also the right ethical approach to provide this kind of service? So that's my visionary use case. The automated home that takes care of everything for you and gives a genuine intelligent experience. I love digital technologies. I think they can transform the world. I strongly believe that we need to get beyond this frivolous use of technology to allow us to optimize our agendas and do something a little bit more meaningful, and I think that AI can really help us do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I had a slightly different perspective on it. So it's Tony Waller, I'm a partner at Olswang. I run our technology team. I see things through a couple of different lenses. One is the impact that AI has on my particular industry and on service industries in general, and what that might mean for the country going forward. And the second is focusing on actually the opportunity that's afforded by the growth in the AI industry within the UK.
Is everyone just wondering what to say? I was saying at the back, and I realised that it's quite faint if you're at the back, isn't it? Do you want to just a little bit?
Am I projecting enough?
If you could just project a wee bit.
Project a bit more, right? Okay, very good. All right, so I'm a little humbled because I'm in the presence of Richard Suston here, who's been talking about the revolution in law for quite some time. Law, for those who aren't aware, is going through its own mini industrial revolution where we are being forced to think about different business models and different ways of working. And there are a number of factors driving that. And AI has the potential both to be a disruptor and a saviour of the industry. And in terms of how we might embrace it, there's a lot of challenges to come. So the way I look at it is law firms at the moment have both a desire to be involved in AI and a need to be involved in AI. A desire because they like to be seen as cutting edge, using the new services and new approach to the way of delivering our services that AI can offer. And the need, because of the pressure on margin within the legal industry and indeed many other service providers across the market, to protect margin and perhaps use AI as a tool to do that. The challenge that I have in the the use of AI as a tool, is that the more we rely on AI, the less we have in terms of experience on the human side of service provision available in the market. So AI, from a legal perspective, and I know this is true for other service providers as well, is pitched as a way of ensuring that certainly junior resource that might otherwise have been thrown at a large due diligence exercise or a disclosure process in the course of a large piece of litigation, where you would have had many junior lawyers poring over thousands of documents, you'll now have a piece of software that does it instantaneously and without the need for all of that resource and being aimed at it. Now that sounds great in the short term, certainly from a client's perspective, and actually from the law firm's perspective as well. But in the long term, it means that you will have fewer lawyers who have a deeper level of experience over the course of time, so that in due course, will we end up in a situation where you don't have enough experience in the market, either in law or in any other service provider, to deliver the services that people require? I believe that there's always going to be a difference between volume and value within law. And I think there's an increasing focus on how that time becomes a less relevant factor and value becomes a more relevant factor. But I want to make sure that in the long term that value can be delivered and with experience that sits there. Now, on the flip side, I run a virtual accelerator for growth businesses at Olswang. We're focusing on 40 of the best businesses out there in the market in terms of startups that we think have the opportunity to change the world, and many of them are AI businesses. My perspective is that actually there's an opportunity for the UK market in AI that we ought to capitalise on. We ought to be encouraging the growth of those businesses, the retention of talent, and drawing in as much capital as we can into the growth of that AI industry, because it will ultimately deliver jobs to this country. So one of my provocations is, how do we ensure that AI businesses are given the proper level of support and the investors are given the best encouragement we can deliver to be investing in AI going forward?
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, I'm Roberto Desimone. I'm from BA Systems Applied Intelligence, from the non-defence side of BA Systems. So my division really emphasises cybersecurity aspects. I find it difficult to identify one use case. So I've got two that identify two areas of AI that have implications. The first one is autonomous operations. So I think we've already sort of addressed that a little bit in one of the other provocations. And the second one is in predictive analytics. On and in both cases we're doing some work at BA Systems, but there are many other players doing work in this area. On the autonomous operations, some of the examples, what might this mean? So in the defence arena, it might mean managing quite complex military operations, campaigns with lots of coalition partners, quite complex organisational operations management. In the telecoms industry, it might be network optimization and resource management across different groups. From a distribution logistics perspective, it might be companies, distribution companies, whether it's Amazon or TNT, trying to manage effective use of resources to deliver, competitive advantage. We'll probably hear a bit more about energy, smart energy grids, in the health area in integrated care management, and in the finance in optimizing financial portfolios. Key issues with each of those, because we're talking here about how can we try and automate some of those quite complex operational business, is what level of autonomy would you delegate to any of these machines? Would you fully automate? Would you have humans involved in that? At what point would there be a handoff between a human and a machine? We explored some of these. I used to work at Kinetic for a number of years with UAV missions, where the UAV might identify how it get to the location, but when it gets there, it's got to do things, but not on its own, along with other packages. And what level of autonomy do you delegate to that? And what are you allowed to? What does law permit you to perform, to get the machine to perform So levels of autonomy is going to be a critical issue associated with the application of autonomous operations and AI and supporting that. But the other thing is also sharing quite critical and sensitive information across different groups, across different stakeholders. Everyone wants to own their information. They don't want to give it away. It's precious to them. And sharing it as part of a grander system is quite a critical issue. And how can we make it possible? How can it be possible for those people to feel comfortable about sharing their information as part of these autonomous groupings? And the other key issue is security. Sensitive information can be shared, it could be hacked, it could be exploited by other people. What can we do to ensure that the information is shared in a trusted manner? So that's about autonomous operations. The second use case picks up some of those issues, but from a different perspective, on predictive analytics. It's a bit of a buzzword. There's quite a few companies saying, come buy my system and my system will help predict the faults in your systems, your fridges, your cars, your overall systems, and we'll find out what's going wrong before it actually happens and fix it before it happens. Rolls-Royce have got a great program with their aero engines in identifying at what point, not where will the systems dramatically fail, but will they be at a point where you need to enhance and tweak and improve them? And they'll probably make an awful lot of money, not selling jet engines, but selling the predictive analytics systems. Medical and health diagnosis, quite a complex area. Consultants who are very expert in diagnosing heart and cancer, but can machines help? And over the last 20, 30 years, actually there's been an awful lot of research on supporting medical diagnosis. The one that I deal with an awful lot within my organisation is about fraud and fraud detection, whether fraud in the financial industry, whether it's cyber fraud or law enforcement. Key issues with this predictive analytics proposition is data privacy and ownership. What can you do? If you're going to try and detect fraud or detect faults, what information can you gather? Should you gather? Is it necessary to gather all that information? Is it proportionate based on the kind of threat that you're facing? So law will have to be enhanced and changed and refined, and the interpretation will also need to be very, very key. These predictive analytics could identify what's going wrong or what might go wrong. It hasn't gone wrong yet. And so the notion is the false positives that it will find. Will it predict things that actually won't actually happen? So we've got to be very clear about the support for those predictions that come and what are the metrics for scoring those. One final issue on that is talking to some people in the law enforcement area. When they identify that there's a potential fraud or criminal activity going on, if it's recognised, you've actually got to address it. So sometimes, if our systems can identify a large number of them, they actually have to address all of them. But you can't. You haven't got the resources to do that. So the process, the policy needs to change to allow people to address and focus in on the most threatening frauds or crimes.
Super. Thank you very much. So before I hand over to Will, I just want to remind that we now have some time for discussion at the tables where we can address and discuss what we've heard, discuss use cases, and then in our provocation, which we also have on the table, one of the questions we would like to add on top of just the reaction is literally how big innovation center might be able to help you and play a role in this. For example, we would well, you can read it yourself, but like an AI landscape tool or support on product managed use cases or ethical areas. Unfortunately, Harvey Lewis from Deloitte cannot be here today, but he was very keen on the big innovation center to be supporting AI use cases with a kind of a who is who AI landscaping tool where we know who had the capabilities, both technologically, ethically, and data analytics, and in other areas where we could actually help and support organizations in creating use cases and involving those who they didn't know, basically, because we are now building up this big international network around AI. Yeah, so Will, I'm now handing over to you to make sure that the chairs at the tables are chairing the sessions and notes are taken.
The form is that we have around 20 minutes to discuss at the tables the 4 presentations and actually other contributions that people want to make. Answering the questions also about trying to develop this notion of what use cases that each table would want to run with. And this question that Birgitte's put on the table about a landscaping tool, is that going to be generic? Would it have to be sector specific? What would its elements be? We're going to kick around actually the provocations that you've heard. Then what we'll do is from each table, either the chair of the table or someone to be nominated if they're very loquacious and feeling really bullish about things, they're going to present to the group.
We have the note taker at each table.
And we have a note taker at each table.
And they can present the 5 points.
So the note taker has already been predisposed.
Exactly.
So it's going to be you on my table, Kevin. You're going to do it. So you are going to be the man who takes the notes and makes the presentation. So each of you know who you are, note taker. If actually you have a kind of faint heart at the blast, do let us know. We'll find someone else to speak. But go to it. We've got 20 minutes, and then we'll spend about 10 minutes in co-presenting, because we've got how many? 1, 2, 3, 6 tables. A lot of tables. Okay, let's go for it.
Okay.